Oh, broken a half, damn. So the question is a Work Sharp knife sharp? Well, I've got something brand new, innovative. Nobody's seen this and nobody's tested this knife yet. We're gonna be the first to do it. Work Sharp RMX. We're gonna put it through the ECURT Index. What does ECURT stand for? It stands for everyday carryability, culinary, utilitarian, rugged, and of course torture. We're gonna torture this thing. We're gonna see if this magnesium can hold up against a cinder block. I've got it in the automatic mode here. You can actually swap this out here. You can take the pivot out and you can make this just a manual. I've got it in the, of course, the auto because hey, if we're gonna test this thing out, we're gonna test it out everything. Where there's a spring in there, see how well that holds up here, how well does that lock hold up, you know, just go over and see what this thing can do. We're gonna torture this knife and really work it so well, you don't have to here. First thing we talk about is the everyday carryability of the knife. You know, just the day-to-day tasks. I've got my score sheet here, so I'm gonna write down the scores and as I talk through them with you. I've been carrying mine for quite a while. This is a brand new one, and you know, we got to test out it. If you're going to test out a knife, test out a brand new one. I've been carrying mine for, gosh, about 2 weeks straight, and I carried it every single day. So I've got a pretty good, you know, first world use of the knife here. I got my big eye pen, I got my cheat sheet. Let's rock and roll. So, as I've been saying, I've been carrying mine. It fits really well in the pocket. I've got my phone in there, and this is a iPhone 15 Pro. So, you know, as far as, you know, putting it in the pocket, super easy. It's super, super light. And that's the first thing we talk about when it comes to everyday carryability. How is the weight? It's very, very light, and you would think that it would be chunky and heavy looking, honestly, but the weight is perfect. I hate to say it. I actually already put that on the score here. I gave it a 9 because it's just super light. And when weight comes size, so sometimes you give up a little something, something. Well, size-wise, very well in the pocket. For me, that's about the size that I want a knife. Doesn't take up a whole lot of real estate in the pocket. Very easy, you can choke up on it. Very easy to hold. So for me, size, also a 9. And ease of use. So this one's a little tricky. I was trying to come up with an idea before I even made this video. I was like, man, you know, there's 2 options for this knife. Without going too far into specs, because, well, we already made that video. This has the auto version, which you see that I have it going on right now. Also has a manual version. So you pull this pivot off and you take the spring out, and then you just use the button to basically release the lock, open it up, and then it's locked, push the button, close it. You use centrifugal force. Well, in auto version, holy smokes, it's fast. It does take 1 hand or 2 hands. You can kind of do it one-handed. I just did it. Mine, my personal one that I've used, this has 2 clicks. I clicked on the first one, so when I do close it, it kind of lets the spring a little loose, and I can grab that and close it with 1 hand. It's a little harder when you got it at the second tightness or tension, but for auto, man, this thing flies out. It's really good, but you know, not everybody can have an automatic knife in their state. So of course, regulations and laws and rules and, you know, all that. Closing wise, a little harder. So I kind of give that like an 8.5. As far as the manual version, when you have the spring out, like I said, you got to push the button, swing it out. It takes a little bit to get used to, and that's where I couldn't come up with a score. So it's kind of like it's almost like 2 knives at the same time. Not that it's hard at all, but it's not super easy, and it's not even when I talk about like safety, you know, when you have to close it, you don't have your fingers in the way of it, but you do kind of have to close it. As far as not being super safe, I don't know. It's like I said, that one's kind of a controversial ease of use. Ease of use, like in and out of the pocket. That pocket clip is great. Also, it's reversible, so for lefties, absolutely. I'm like I said, this is a tough one for me. I am going to score it, and I'm going to give it a. Honestly, I'm going to give it an 8 because I think it's kind of a happy medium. I think in the manual version, it's kind of a 7. In the auto, it's like a 9. Only reason it's a 9 and not a 10 is because, well, it's a little harder to close. So I'm going to go ahead and give that an 8. Materials, like I said, without going super, super cool car going by. Really sweet car. GTO. Materials, so magnesium. We've never seen that. I've never seen it, and if you've seen it, then you're probably from a different planet. and M390. Well, that material we've seen around, and M390 is a solid material. Magnesium, I don't know much about it. My understanding is it can rust. You can see this one's got little scratches on it from going in the pocket. From my understanding, though, if you're like taking care of it like you should anything, this thing should last a long time. And we see like brass knives, like old Buck 110s last forever. And I think we kind of glass over the idea like it's a knife. It's not like the undercarriage of my pickup truck that can rust out. So I have to say materials are absolutely cool. M390, I mean, that's always a win. It's one of my favorite steels. As far as the magnesium, I don't know much about it. So that's a tough one. We don't know much about it. I think I want to kind of come back to it, but right now I'm going to give it a score, and we can kind of come back to it later. But I'm going to give it an 8.5 because I love me some M390. I think we'll have to come back to it and kind of see how that magnesium does. I don't know, does it break? It's super light though. Gosh, it is like incredibly light. Like here's a titanium pen versus the knife, and I think the knife is actually a little bit lighter. I'd have to look up the specs. Price-wise, that's another one. This isn't officially out, but they're shooting for under $200. These are parts all over the world, so the parts are not one place, so that could change, but my understanding is they're shooting for under $200. That's a pretty good price for an automatic knife with these types of materials and innovative, like everything. Like this is a knife that it's cool. It's different. I love what Work Sharp brought to the table. So for $200, I think it's a good price for what you're getting. I mean, I don't want to say this too early, and you'll get me in the comments, but ProTech vibes. If I had that smaller one, shooting this out here, comparing it to like the ProTech Runt, I could see that. It's super, super snappy. Powerful little spring in there. Mine, on the other hand, like I said, I have it on the lighter adjustment, and I like that because, like I said, I can be one-handed. Still super springy. This kit comes with all the extra parts. So price for $200. I mean, I'm gonna write this one down here, and no, it's an opinion. I think it's a great price. It's expensive. I mean, a $200 knife, yes, but well, we've spent more on more expensive knives, so I'm going to put it in a good price range. I'm going to give it a 7.5. Not that that's a bad score or anything, but it's up there. But I think overall, you know, weight, size, it's a good knife. Let's take it through the rest of the tests here. We've talked about it. Enough of that. We've already made a video on that, so let's put it to use. I'm gonna make a sandwich because I'm getting hungry. I'm gonna go actually first clean this, and we'll start doing some food prep with it and see how we really like it. But first, before we go ahead and do that here, I want to give a great shout out to Whatnot, our sponsor of the video today here. We go live on Whatnot. We're selling some pretty darn awesome stuff over there, so go ahead and make sure you do subscribe to us here. Follow the link down below here. I'll give you instructions. And of course, I do want to let you know that Whatnot is also throwing in $15 off of your first purchase on Whatnot here. Pretty cool stuff, guys. So check that out here. Thank you, Whatnot, also. And let's go ahead and test out this knife. All right, so we're gonna do this outside here. Maybe kind of like you're at the workshop, I guess, or you're at work and you're gonna use your knife, which is now clean, for some food prep. And first we're gonna start out with some meat because we're gonna make a sandwich here. Let's go ahead and try this out here really quick here. Cut this in half. Oh man, that is slicey. that is a sharp knife. All right, so we need some meat. Let's go ahead and cut through here. Good slices, of course, because, well, we got to make a good sandwich. This is some garlic sausage. It's cutting really well. As sliciness, I would say it's pretty good. Well, it's not as sharp as I've had some. I don't know if maybe it's just not as thick, but it's working. It's working. I do love that there's no thumb studs. As much as I love a thumb stud, definitely not getting in the way of cutting the meat, so definitely good there. Give it one more slice here. All right, got the meat out of the way here. Can't have a sandwich without good cheese. Okay, little not too bad, not too much of a problem, but kind of cut a little weird. And of course, pepper jack cheese. Oh yeah, cutting the cheese is working really well. All right, and of course we need a tomato. And let's just see how slicey this thing does with the tomato. Not too shabby. Good slices. This is a nice ripe tomato. The size is working out really well. I do like that. A couple of pieces that should do it. And then of course you need bread. Can't have a sandwich without bread. This is the true test, I think, because honestly, when it comes to cutting bread, bread is important, and it's something that's soft. How sharp is a knife? I'm gonna prove that. And this knife, as far as size-wise, is working really good here. That's for sure. Get another cut there. It is pushing through a little bit, so I'm not gonna lie, it's not as sharp. I shouldn't say sharp. It's like not as I don't know, slicey as I expected, but that means it's probably going to be very good as a utilitarian knife, that's for sure. We need to chop something, and I want to put pickles on my sandwich, so I got some Milwaukee kosher dill pickles. So I'm going to chop up some pickles to put on there. Did I say tomato juice earlier? Pickle juice. So chopping through the pickle, obviously a soft pickle, it's pretty easy. Go ahead and chop it through this way. Sandwich style. It's slicing right through there with no issues. Chopping, no issues. This thing chops really well. Oh yeah. So chopping, yeah, pretty darn good. All right. So let's build this sandwich up here. Start out with the meat here. The meat cut really well. I'm going to say that as far as cutting the meat, I was very impressed. Let's put 3 pieces of meat on there. The cheese did really well. I thought it did exceptional. Let me go ahead and say put some tomato slicing. Did extremely well, as in my opinion, as well too. So everything did pretty darn good. Would I say this is a perfect culinary knife? I mean, not necessarily, but it did pretty darn good. Before I scored them here, I got some Mike's Hot Honey. You ever had some of this stuff? You will like it. You'll thank me later. All right. Put some of Mike's Hot Honey on there. And then let's go ahead and talk about it. Sandwich is excellent, by the way. But let's talk about the culinary use. I took down the scores, of course. I gave the meat a 7.5, and I gave the cheese a 7. The chopping was an 8. The tomato was an 8, and the bread was a 7. Everything performed well. As far as this knife being a chef's knife, no. As far as everyday carryability, yeah, pretty darn good. As far as a folding knife, though, I still don't believe in a folding knife, especially this one, because it's hard to kind of get stuff outside, or how would I say it? It's hard to clean out this knife, of course. Anything with a pivot. Although this knife is really easy to take apart, where that could give us some points in the easeability, of course, of cleaning it. But then again, like I said, folding knives are never perfect for culinary, but if I had this knife on, I'd be very happy. I think it did overall pretty well. All right, I got it all cleaned up here. I'm gonna go ahead and do some utilitarian use of this knife here. I always like to kind of cut through some wire. I feel like that's honestly an everyday task as a dad, as just a regular person. So let's just see how well this works for stripping some wire. It is sharp, and I say this every time. I am not an electrician, and knives are not that easy to strip. I'm just not good at it. There we go. Okay, now let's grab these little wires. And like I said, it's sharp enough. It's definitely doing the job. It's not cutting too much, not cutting too little. I mean, I'm getting better at this each week. So as far as, like I said, cutting wire, it does its job. Go ahead and give that a decent score here. Real world application. There we go. Not too shabby. Let's go ahead and just kind of cut it down here. Yeah, not too shabby. This thing is sharp. just see kind of like a, oh yeah, there you can see how the fibers are in there. This is a heavy duty hose, I guess you could say. There you go. You can kind of see the inside, so you can see what I'm cutting through. Go ahead and grab a chuck here for next time. Pretty good. I would say cutting a hoe is a pretty solid knife. Got some cardboard. Let's test it out here. Oh, I love that action. Love that action. Oh yeah. You gotta see that thing cut. That is super slicey. Like I said, this is where I really expected this knife to do extremely good. Let's go ahead and double it up there. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. And the ergonomics are good. Got some good jimping up here. So this is like, let's do it. Let's do 4 pieces. Can we do it? Let's just see here. Without cutting myself. There we go. Not too shabby. Oh yeah. Like I said, we may not have seen it be the best culinary knife, but I mean, hard to cut on camera. So yeah, this is a knife that maybe it's not going to be, the best culinary knife, but when it comes to actually using the knife for, pocket knife situations, this thing is. Just do a nice push cut. Oh, there we go. There we go. Not too shabby. Okay. So the question is a Work Sharp sharp? Is a Work Sharp knife sharp? Well, you be the judge. I'm going to say yes. This thing is razor sharp, and I didn't sharpen it. So this came right from the factory. So as you can expect, yes, it is sharp. Actually, I wish I had more cardboard to cut through here because this is actually very enjoyable. All right, so when it comes to the rubber hose, it did phenomenal. I'm going to go ahead and give that a score of a 8.5. Cardboard, I love that thing. I could use this thing all day long. I'm going to go ahead and say ergonomically, cutting wise, everything, 9.5 in my book. All right, let's go ahead and do a little more rugged use with this knife here and see how it holds up. And is it solid? Seems pretty solid still, so that's good. Okay, all right. See how well this thing can, pry open some, oh, here we go. Oh, not too shabby. All right, this is a 3-peat. Ooh, kind of bending in that a little bit. A little bending going on here. All right. All right. That didn't do too bad. At least it gets that one on the end there hanging up. There we go. Ooh. I'm feeling a little bit of a wobbly going on in there. Okay. We're good still. Remember, these are tests that, this isn't what a knife is made for, of course. So these are tests that I don't condone. I don't recommend using the knife for this stuff. So, use as your own discretion. All right. There we go. I'm going to say here, that tip worked out pretty dang good. I'm going to say here, it felt a little scary, like I said, when I kind of got down there and was pushing down on that. Seemed a little weak there, but just a little bit of bending, but nothing serious. The tip is still intact, still pretty dang sharp. Yeah, no problems there. And let's go over and take a look at the rope here. I'm gonna give that tip pry a 7.8. Did pretty dang good. I was a little scared of some parts of it, but all right. The old blade killer. Oh man, this rope is no good. It's so hard to cut through. But It's not doing too shabby. It's cutting. It's clean cutting it. There we go. Once you get in there, it really wants to bite. Okay, okay. Oh man, that is hard. There we go. There we go. So there's the rope. Oh man. Okay. I want to say here, you know, that knife really worked. Look at it did to my hand. So that's saying, you know, how hard I'm pushing on that. The rope did okay though. I mean, man, that is tough though. The knife still feels pretty dang solid though. Good knife, good knife. So cutting rope did great. Let's go ahead and move over to the zip ties here. I'm just gonna go ahead. Oh yeah, no problems there. Okay, and can it get through this zip tie? There we go, no problems. Go ahead and grab another one here and do a little push through. There we go. Yeah, it does zip ties pretty dang good as far as, you know, cutting the zip ties. There we go. Oh, yeah, let's do it again. There we go. Yeah, if I had to use this knife to cut zip ties, yeah, did dang good. Let's go ahead and see how this does up against the coat hanger. The coat hanger is something that, man, I tell you, every time I cut through a coat hanger, I cringe because I don't know what's going to happen. And of course, that life experience I've had with the coat hanger messing up one of my Leathermans. But, well, here goes nothing. Let's go. Let's find a nice flat spot. 1, 2, 3. Dang. That was 3 hits. Find a new spot here on the edge here. More. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3. There we go. How's the blade looking? Not too shabby. Let's do it one more time, just because it feels soft. Let me try it with my other hand. All right, 1, 2, 3. There we go. No issues there. Okay, there we go. M390 is good steel. That went no problems. All right, you're building a campfire. You need to get some wood. So there's 2 things you can use feather sticking for. You can use it as just little pieces, or you can use these little feathers and leave it on there and almost build like a torch style. So first off, got these little pieces. You can burn it like that, or you can cut them all off. This is really wet wood, I noticed. But then you can use this as kindling. And best thing for fire is small pieces like that. So here we go. There we go, looking good. Yeah, very wet wood though. This probably would not be the best, but hey, it's working. And for feather sticking, that did pretty darn good. So I'm gonna say here, feather sticking with this knife, not too shabby. I'd take that camping with me any day. All right, so we have done some cooking. We've done some, you know, just regular knife tasks. And we've run it through the Utilitarian test. And then we started checking out its rugged use and kind of taking a borderline, like, should you be using your knife for that? Well, we did tip pry, 7.8. I thought it did phenomenal. The rope, I mean, I'll be honest with you, it was harder. I've done some other knives that have done better, but I've done some that done way worse. So as far as rope, I'm gonna go ahead and give the rope cut a 7. The coat hanger, I mean, it cut right through that, and the blade's still solid shape. So definitely gonna give that an 8. Feather sticking, I'd take that with me any day in a camping trip. Anything bigger than that, we'll see what it does with batoning, but the feather sticking, nah, that did great. Go ahead and give that a 7.8. And then the zip tie, no problems. Give that an 8.5. I mean, definitely a tool. So now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna, well, take it way beyond the test and torture it, I guess you could say here. But here's the knife so far, and I think it's doing pretty darn good. Still feels very solid, still super snappy. Got a little bit of a, I don't know, a little bit of a play in there, but you know, that could probably just be as easy as tightening up the pivot. But put that in your pocket and you wouldn't know the lesser. But I'm being very picky, so well, let's move over and torture this bad boy. All right, so you just got done feather sticking with this knife, and you're like, you know what? Now it's time to, ooh, a little sticky. Or is that the gloves? Whew. Okay, anyway, so now you just got done feather sticking. You're like, all right, now the fire's going pretty well. Now it's time to baton with this thing here. Let's just take a look and see how well this thing uses as a baton. Definitely not something you want to use. And I say this all the time, but you want to lock the lock or break the lock. But this one, obviously, because it's got that auto, a little harder. So, but we're testing it out. This is where the real durability comes. Let's go and test this bad boy out here. You need some logs to put on the fire, right? Well, here we go. Let's take this down on the ground. Whew, I'm a little nervous about this, but well, we gotta test it out. I know this isn't really batoning, but I gotta see how it does. Okay. It's a little loose, but I think we tighten that up there. Oh, man, that's all right. Let's just see what happens. Yep, that is a good solid lock. All right, take a look at that lock. A little bit of blade play in there, nothing crazy, but still snappier than ever. Go ahead and take out this screw right here, and let's see how well it does as a screwdriver. Oh dang, it's like the perfect size inside that screw. Okay, well, I guess that's a no-brainer how easy that was. Okay, all right, that was a lot more simple than I thought it would be. Okay. Well, let's see if we can do the opposite. It's got this little flat spot here. An automatic screwdriver. Well, extending automatic screwdriver. This thing is like the perfect size. This is why I like drop point blades. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Going in there with the ease. I keep wanting to touch that button though, so that's a little scary. That's the only downfall I've got there. Well, what do we see in there? Tiny, tiny little bit of break, but I just did that. Still solid. Okay. Let's go ahead and cut through a bolt. Will it chop through it? We'll see. All right, here we go then. 1, 2, 3. Just took the sharp edge off. Okay, let's do it again. Find a new fresh spot. 1, 2, 3. Well, didn't chop through whatsoever, but blade's still pretty good. Yeah, getting a little gummy though. All right, get these weeds out of here. All right, let's just pretend I was metal detecting, and I'll tell you what, that's a pretty good shape for a good digging knife. Obviously, it's not a shovel, but digging wise, I'm trying to see if I can close it. Sorry. There we go. All right, so digging wise, definitely a knife that I would use for digging if I was metal detecting. Although now what I just showed you, as I closed it, now that dirt's going to get inside there, so that'll definitely tally up for what the scores are going to be telling. The score will tell you what I think. Well, here goes the brick drop. Here goes nothing, I guess. I cringe, but we got to do it. So guys, before I drop this brick onto the knife, I need you all to go down here and hit that like button, subscribe. I'm breaking a lot of bricks and it's getting expensive, so do us a favor. I'll wait. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's go. Whew, here goes nothing. 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh. Magnesium. Oh, I think it cracked it. I can't tell. I mean, it still opens and closes. I think we got a small crack there. Okay. Well, that was one brick drop. Should we do it again? I don't want to do it twice, but we got to do it. It's for science. Ooh, that magnesium though, scary. Supposedly it's flammable. You've seen the videos. We'll find out. For science. Did you like and subscribe yet? If you haven't, go now. I'll wait. As a wholly, 45-pound brick. Let's go, come on. All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I've broken a half. Oh, dang it. Oh, dang it. I didn't want to break it in half, but I hit it. I did 2 brick drops. Dang it. It broke. Yikes. There it is. Well, let's go ahead and tally up some scores here. Well, let's see how well it did here. I think, digging wise, did just fine. Oh man, it's getting hot out. I don't even know what is the temperature out here like. I think it's above 90 by now. It's hot. But anyway, saying digging, did fine. Because of it's a folder knife, I got docket points for that here. Digging, let's go ahead and give that a 6. I just fine, but I just wouldn't want to use it every time. Batoning, I mean, that lock held up incredible. I'm gonna go ahead and give this 7.5. And the screwdriver, that blade shape was like perfect. I'll go ahead and give that a 8.9. Bolt chop didn't do squat. Didn't break the blade though, didn't hardly hurt the blade at all. So I'd go ahead and give the bolt chop, meet in the middle. It was kind of a tie. So I'm actually gonna give it a 4.5. It's kind of a tie. I mean, they didn't do anything, but didn't do anything to the knife, so kind of a score. The brick drop though, I would say officially it failed. And I mean, yes, it broke in half. That was the second one. It took 2 times for that to happen, but I think we cracked it, the initial, but dang. Magnesium though is a little scary. I should be careful. Now there's little shavings, I probably should be extremely careful with this. But broke in half. The blade though, M390 did great. I loved how light it was, but I would say it though. The magnesium, it's definitely a weak spot, but man, magnesium on a knife is pretty cool. It's light, it is solid, it doesn't flex. They're pretty good. Guys, appreciate you hanging out with me. Everybody, take your knife beyond the pocket.